Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav.
And I'm Harmat.
And this is a Game of Thrones, Chapter 5, Jon. In this chapter, we witness some rather questionable underage drinking. And there's a feast. And some weird acrobatics. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are so glad to have you back. How are you doing today, Harmat?
I'm good. How are you?
I am pretty great. So, what did you think of this chapter?
It was good. We're still kind of just boring, but it's okay. I guess it was nice
You're
to
boring,
like
or the chapters are
the
boring?
chapter's boring. But I think it was good though, because we were like getting to know new characters, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
what's gonna happen?
We know a lot of those people now.
Yeah, so I had like more to think about, because it wasn't just like Jon being like, I'm a bastard. It was like Jon's like, I'm a bastard, and then someone would come in, we'd be like, oh, who's this?
Okay, so
cool.
he was being very emo, interrupted by some other people.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair assessment of this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, are you ready for the 30-second summary? I don't know why I said it like that.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's watch me
Ready?
fail this.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so Jon, there's a big feast because, you know, king's in town, so there's a feast. So Jon's sitting not with his, family, because the queen was like, yeah, sorry, we don't want to, disrespect the king. Not the queen,
Lady Stark.
Yes, Lady Stark. She said that. And then he was like, okay, whatever, it's fine.
22.
And he's trying to get over that by being like, you know what? I get to drink as much as I want because I don't have any parents. And I was like, dang. And then he talks to
30.
his uncle, and then he talks to the guy.
Okay. I gave you 32 seconds there.
Yay.
You get no more. I am getting tough with this rule, okay? We are enforcing this shit.
I was just trying to remember his name. What's the guy's name? The
Tyrion or
yes,
Uncle
Tyrion.
Benjen?
Tyrion. I couldn't remember his name.
Right. Okay. Well, fair summary. You missed, like, all the plot points, but you got the general feel of it.
It's okay. Feelings are more important.
Sure. Okay. Not that they're not. I'm not saying they're not. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Why don't you take us off from the beginning?
Okay.
Go through it step by step.
Okay, so, as we already said, this entire chapter involved some questionable underage drinking. But we'll get into that after. So, as I said, Jon's sitting at the end of the hall away from his family because Lady Stark didn't want to offend the royals by seating a bastard with them.
Yeah.
Which was, like, okay, like, I get that's how your world works, but...
But also, that is true, but, like, getting a sense of how, like, the queen was and, like, how her brothers are and everything, I do get the sense that they would be offended.
Yeah.
Not that, like, it's the right thing to do. They should, like, stand up for their family member, like, this is our kid. He does get to sit here. I don't care what you think. Mm-hmm. But it's a thing.
But we know the queen, so I guess someone has to take it.
After all, her pride grows with every passing year, so
exactly.
She doesn't want her pride to be hurt.
Exactly. Okay, and then so Jon's like, you know what? I don't care. And he's trying to forget about not being included by bragging to us about how much he gets to drink, and he gets to have his wolf there, but his siblings
he gets
don't.
to hang out with all the rowdy crowd who are like all drinking and enjoying, whereas everybody at the high table.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be a man. They're just whatever. I'm a true man here. That's pretty much his vibe.
Well, he's like, I'm getting drunk today, and that means I am a man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, you know what? Whatever you need to make you feel better, buddy. I got you.
I mean, honestly, though, if like I had a puppy, I would much rather spend time with my puppy than with, like, stuck-up people, so
Yeah,
I feel bad
exactly.
for him, because obviously it's important to him, but also I'm like, you didn't get that bad of a deal, like, you're still, like, you know, you're still living in a castle, and you have all this privilege, even if you don't see it yourself. Like, to him, it seems like, oh, everybody's has it better than I do. I don't know why I
Yeah,
said
but
better.
that's just because the people in your company are the very few who have it better than you.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. I mean, I get it. He's 14. He's a kid. He wants to be included. Totally understandable. And he's like, you know, he's crying also, but he's like, oh, these aren't tears. This is just, the smoke in the room is making my eyes water.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah. But anyway, so, everybody's coming in for the feast, and they're being introduced slowly, step by step.
Yeah, there's like a procession of all the important people.
Yeah, so Ned brings in the queen.
Wait, before Ned brings in the queen, let's start with Rickon, who comes first, and it says he stops to visit John on his way down the aisle, which is so cute, because he's like, oh, this is my brother, I know him. Yeah. So he just, like, wanders over to John. And then I just wanted to, like, I don't even know this kid, I just wanted to, like, squeeze his cheeks or something.
Yeah, I know. He's so cute.
So cute. But and then, wait, before we get to the queen and I'm sorry. You may not have noticed this because this is your first time reading the books and getting to know this story, but George R.R. Martin totally forgot to include Bran in this procession. He, like, jumps from Rickon to, like, us to the girls and everybody, and he just, like, skips Bran.
Yeah, dang.
Which, I was like, wait, where is Bran? Because I didn't realize that he wasn't mentioned before, and then I googled it, and it just turns out that he forgot, because he's human, I guess, so he makes errors.
That's anticlimactic.
Yeah.
I know how we feel about that.
I was hoping this was, like, some great conspiracy, like Bran was hiding away in a cellar and spying on people or something. Yeah. But no, he was just like, oh, oops, I forgot to include him.
Okay. Rookie mistake, but we'll forgive it.
Yeah. And then comes the queen.
Yeah, the queen comes in, and Ned's, like, accompanying her. And the queen is beautiful, so that's probably part of the pride. But John's like, yeah, her smile's fake. And then Ned's also tense. So you can really tell that neither of them really is like, oh my god.
They're like following really the courtesies, but they're not really at ease in this whole situation. The queen is mad because, you know, the king was, like, rude to her before, which fair, like, the king was just like, shut up or something. He didn't even, like, you know, actually consider what she was saying. And then Ned is, we know he's tense because the king just asked him to be his hand, so he's got a lot on his mind.
I love that John noticed that. He was like, you know what? I know this man. I know my father. And then we meet the Lannister brothers who
walk in after the king and the queen. There's Jaime Lannister. People call him the Lion of Lannister to his face, and Kingslayer behind his back. Now, do you remember this term Kingslayer from anywhere?
Yeah.
Where?
He killed Daenerys' brother.
Brother? I don't think so.
Fight? He killed someone in the fight.
Robert Baratheon killed Daenerys' brother in the battle at the Trident. So that's Robert Baratheon. That's not Jaime Lannister.
Okay, I forget what he did.
And her brother was
someone.
The prince, who would be the king that he would slay.
Like the dad?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the dad isn't important to me.
Yeah, there's like a throwaway line in Daenerys' chapter where she's thinking about how, you know, her family was killed on the battle, and her dad was the Kingslayer stabbed her dad in the throne room or something. So
there was too much killing in that chapter. I was like, who killed who? Who hurt who? What's going on? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But
okay, with this, like, how they call him the Lion of Lannister to his face, but Kingslayer behind his back, that says that Kingslayer is an insult. Why do you think people insult him about the fact that he killed the king? They wanted the king dead, you know?
Yeah.
So why do you think?
That's a good point. Maybe just because if you're saying someone killed the king, that just feels like an insult. Because if you're killing the king, it's for your own selfish reasons. They probably don't think he killed the king for the sake of the public, like, because they wanted the king killed. Like, it's because Jaime has such close ties to King Robert. Or, what's his face? King Robert, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. For a second I was like, wait, yeah. So since they're so close, so it just, to them, it was so
it wasn't
selfish.
for the good of the public, rather it was just for the good of the family or the,
And obviously that's beneficial to him, because then his brother-in-law is the king, not this random guy.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, all the people that Jon knows, which are, like, the people in Winterfell on his dad's, like, household or whatever, they're all on the side of Robert, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's the only people he would, like, hear call Jaime Kingslayer. So why would, like, Robert's allies be calling his ally Kingslayer? And using that as, like, a mocking term. You would think it's cool, like, oh, I killed the most powerful man in the kingdoms, and he was mad, so you're welcome.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so I guess you just don't know. Let's move on. There's the second Lannister brother, Tyrion, who's a dwarf, and he has some interesting physical features. He has 2 different eye colors, hair that's like white blonde.
Mm-hmm.
George R.R. Martin really pulled out all the stops on this one to make him sound like something other, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What did you think of these 2 brothers?
It was kind of funny. I think like George R.R., like, he has this theme going on where, like, he makes all the siblings, like, really different so far from what we know of siblings. He like Daenerys and Viserys, and then like the Stark children. And
but Jaime and Cersei, the queen, they are very alike. In fact, they're twins, and they look so alike that they have, like, the same eyes and same hair.
But they're twins. They can...
Okay.
Once you have multiple siblings, they can have similarities. But, like, there's always 2 that are very different.
I see.
So, he really likes this theme. I'm wondering if it's going to continue, but that's a thing. So, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But, I don't know. I just felt like I related more to Tyrion.
Well, he's the only one we really get to know, because we see Jaime, like, in passing. Yeah. Tyrion, on the other hand, we meet later.
Yeah.
But before we meet him, we meet Benjen Stark.
Yes.
Jon's uncle, Eddard's brother, a man of the Night's Watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Benjen was weird, because he comes and he joins Jon, and he's like, hey, I haven't seen you in so long. And then
he's like, oh, you would be a good presence at the wall. But then he's like, as soon as Jon is like, oh yeah, maybe I should be. And then he's like, never mind.
Yeah. Like, I think it could have just been one of those things where, like, in the moment he was like, I'm going to be nice. I'm going to make him feel better about not, like, sitting with his family or something.
Right. But he didn't actually mean to encourage him to join the wall, which Jon seems to have, like, he, like, takes it up immediately. And he's like, yes, let me do that. Because clearly he's, like, looking for somewhere to belong and have some kind of, like,
role, just something to do.
Exactly, like, something to do. Meaning to life or whatever. I'm like, you're 14, just take a nap or something.
Okay, but 14 in this world, like, they're literally
know,
he can't do that. He cannot take a nap. And then so Benjen is like, Benjen pretty much has the same vibe as you. He's like, Jon, you're still a kid. I don't think you understand what's going on. Like, don't you want to have kids someday? Like, you have to, like, give yourself up to this position.
Yeah, you can't have, like, you can't father children. You can't have titles, blah, blah, blah. But
Jon is like, Jon is like, I am not having a bastard. He cries.
I will never father a bastard, because he's very sensitive about the fact that he himself is a bastard. So
yes, definitely. Yeah, we see that here, because like, Benjen was being, like, very pretty gracious and like nice up until this point, and they were just like having a chill back and forth conversation, and he said that one thing and it set him off, so it had to be like such a big thing to him.
Well, it is, we can tell, like that's been his whole thing this whole chapter.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm a bastard, boo-hoo me.
He's like, I'm a bastard, but
his options
I'm a bastard
just...
but I can blank, like
yeah, his options aren't just like never have any kids or have bastards. Like he can marry and have like quote unquote legitimate children.
Yeah, but he's like, who's gonna marry me in this world?
I'm sure somebody. Like he doesn't need to marry a princess. He can marry, there's plenty of regular people he can marry.
Would they marry him though? Because from how he's talking, I get he's a 14-year-old and he doesn't have all the perspective of the world, but from the way he's talking, I just assumed like, oh, nobody normal wants to marry a bastard either. That's why he's so sure.
Like, he's the son of a great lord. And, like, his dad has a lot of power. Even if he's, like, not gonna inherit that power, he still has, like, all this, like, influence on his siblings. Like, his siblings are gonna keep him around if he wants to be around, right?
Hopefully.
He can, like, help them out. He's like, I ride a horse pretty well. He can be their horse master or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, marry some girl in the village. Or some guy, or some non-binary person. Do not mean to be heteronormative. Sorry. But yes, he kind of sees the world as black and white, and it's like either this or that. There is no middle ground.
Yeah.
Whereas, in fact, he does have options. He just isn't quite seeing them.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so when John leaves, he's like... He's like pretty much crying.
He's
like mad crying. Yeah. And then he's in the yard and he's like, he's like just like going off. That was a really weird sound.
He's just trying to cool off in the yard. Yeah.
He's like, whatever, you know what? It's fine. It's pretty much his vibe. And then we meet Tyrion.
Who's sitting on a ledge above the door. And when John like acknowledges him, he's like, oh, do you want me to get a ladder? And he's like, nah, I can just flip off and do some crazy acrobatics.
Yes.
What did you think about this?
About the, like, entire encounter?
The flipping, specifically.
Oh, the flipping? I was like, dang, that's cool.
Okay, yeah, it is cool, but I have mixed feelings about it because...
Why?
Well, okay, so little people and dwarfs like Tyrion are often, like, in the past, they were often treated as, like, creatures of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be... If somebody was born a dwarf, they would, like, kind of automatically be given no choice. The only work they could possibly do is, like, do tricks for other people. So it's it's like people in the circus kind of as well. Exactly. Yeah, like in a circus. Like,
right.
It has those, like, elements of, oh, dwarves are meant to be entertaining kind of vibe to it, which I didn't really like. And
I don't know, I guess, but I feel like we don't know him enough to be like, that's what he's being pinned as.
Well, no, I'm not saying that he's being pinned as that, but I think that's like George R.R. Martin's bias coming through in how he presents him. Like, later we find out that this guy is pretty smart. Like, he's got it figured. Instead of, like, having a flip, he could have introduced him in any other way, but this is how he chose to do it.
I think it was just to show both John and to us that, like, he's cool.
Okay.
You know, he's not upset about his like to me that's just who he is.
Okay.
Like, he's just gonna, you know.
I like that you have a more positive outlook on this because this has always bothered me. And also, actually, it seems like it's bothered George R.R. Martin himself as well, because after writing this, he later found out that how Tyrion's body is structured, he wouldn't actually be able to do a flip that he described. Like, his legs aren't, like, structured in that particular way. So, like, if Tyrion was a real dwarf with, like, you know, how his stature is described in the book, it wouldn't be possible for him to do a flip like that. So you know.
Okay. See, that's what made it cooler for me, because I was thinking about that too. I was like, is that possible? But then I was like, maybe that's the author's goal.
He's just
like,
so good.
I want you to just like, I want you to remember this guy. You know, not as the dwarf, but as the guy who flipped.
Yeah. But like, it's just like hard for me because people with disabilities and differences are often like made out to be things of amusement. And I kind of felt like he was treating Tyrion like that in this one moment. But I also understand how I understand your point that it's like just to show us how cool he is. Because like flipping off of a ledge is pretty cool. I do admit.
Yeah. But so. I guess, you're not going to tell me. But if we meet him again, we can look for that further and see if it's really, like, if that's built upon. Because if it's just one moment, then I'm just going to take it as, like, you know what, he's just cool. But if there's, like, other moments where he's just using him kind of as, like, an amusement factor, then I'll be like, okay.
Okay, all right. I guess we'll
So I'll wait to see if I meet him again.
Okay.
Because you're not going to tell me.
I am not going to tell you. Of course I'm not going to tell you. Do you even know what we're doing here?
Well, if he's in the appendix, then I know. Oh, no, but everybody's going to be in the appendix. I was like, if he's in the appendix, then that means he's a repeating character. No, he's not. Okay, whatever.
Okay,
whatever.
Okay, so Tyrion, after he does a flip and like he lands on his feet or hands or then flips off to his feet or something, when he's on the ground, he like sees Jon and then he sees Ghost, which hold on, can we just talk about how perfect that name is? For the direwolf. I just love it. And Ghost is like, you know, obviously unfamiliar with Tyrion, so Ghost is a little apprehensive of him. But Jon, like, tells him to sit, and then he pets him, and Tyrion is like, he likes it, because he's like, oh, it seems like he likes the wolves.
Yeah.
What did you think about Tyrion when we actually meet him and get to talk to him?
I liked him. He was cool, but I liked him in, like, it was I was like, I can't believe I like him, but I do. Like, he's just so, because, like, you know, when we first meet him, he's pretty much described like he's good for nothing. And until you meet someone, like, I guess, like,
that's
if something like that is pushed upon you, that's all, like, that's literally all you have to go off of. Whether you believe it in its entirety or whether you believe it just a little bit, you're like, oh, maybe he's not completely like that. Like, there's still, like, it's still, that's all that's pushed on you. So you're like, okay, he's a dwarf. Like, that's literally all I know about him.
Yeah.
And then we meet him and I was like, oh, he's so cool. I like him.
He has a good personality.
But he's also, like, quite, really weird.
Yeah, he's quite blunt. And he says that dwarves don't have to be tactful. And, oh my god, he has some really good quotes here that I really like.
Some of the things he says were just, I was like, dang, that's a life lesson.
Yeah, never forget what you are, for surely the world will not. Make it your strength, then it can never be your weakness. Armor yourself in it, and it will never be used to hurt you. So clearly, he wears the fact that he's a dwarf, like, as, like, his pride. He's like, yes, I'm a dwarf, and...
I know. That line, like, I probably, like, wrote in my book. I was like, dang, dang, like, that is good. That's really, really good.
It is good advice. I think it's kind of like don't give a fuck what people think. I'm just gonna be me, which is kind of the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
And then Jon's like, what do you know about being a bastard? And then he's like, well, all dwarves are bastards in their father's eyes.
And I was like, see, the first one was so, like, yes, so empowering. And the second one, I was like, that's ouch.
It kind of shows how dwarves are perceived in this world. And he says that his mom died giving birth to him, so his dad's never been quite sure if he's actually his son. Because he can't ask his mom.
Right.
Because obviously he would want to disown him, clearly, it seems.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's like, Tyrion. Dang. I like him. I think of the two characters in this chapter, like, two being, like, him and Jon, I like him better, because Jon is just so emo, I can't deal with it.
Oh my god, yeah. Jon talking just makes me want to cry. I'm like, oh, okay. Dang.
Yeah, he's so hard, like, I can be very down and emo when, like, I'm in that kind of a mood. But it's just so hard to read that from somebody else's perspective. I hope we get some more happy people.
Yeah, Jon's definitely not going to be a happy person. He's going to go from emo to, like, I'm a king, and
King?
I have leftover. No, he's gonna like become some sort of like powerful, maybe not, definitely not a king, but he's gonna like get a position of power, and then he's gonna be like, let me show you all how you treated me. And like, that's definitely gonna happen.
Oh, so he's gonna like be on the revenge trail then.
I think yes.
Or like the best form of revenge is
if it was
success.
like one, yes. If it was like one book, I'd be like, no, you know what? He's gonna be like, you know what? It's okay. But this is gonna be a really long series, and it seems like Starks are a big family right now, so he's definitely gonna go off the rails somehow.
Okay, well, I look forward to that if it happens. And then I think that's it for their conversation. The last thing is that Tyrion goes back to the feast, and it says that when he opened the door, the light from within threw his shadow clear across the yard, and for just a moment, Tyrion Lannister stood tall as a king.
And I was like, oh!
Well, it's kind of like his personality overshadows his, like, physique.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
It was a good imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
that's
anyone
it for
can be a king if they want to be a king. You just gotta hold yourself like a king.
I don't know if that's true.
No, not like an actual king, but anybody can feel like a king.
Yeah, okay. Feel like a king, sure.
Yes, not be an actual king. I realized.
Well, you did use the word be.
Okay, I meant like mentally be a king.
Okay. Well, we should wrap this up. First, do you got some predictions for me? What do you think is going to happen to Jon?
I think Jon's going to go ballistic. Not right now.
Do you think he's going to go to the wall?
Oh, yeah. That's such a... I literally forgot about that.
Like, that's a thing that happened. Will they let him if he wants to? Will he?
Well, since Benjen's probably going to be, like, leaving soon, he was like, take me the next time you leave or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the king and everyone are still going to be here when Benjen leaves. So they're going to, like, overhear the conversation or something and be like, yeah, take Jon. What's he going to do?
Really?
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So the king's going to be, like, interfering in their family matters. But they're not going to be able to, like maybe it'll, from Ned's perspective, it'll be like because you know how Ned didn't want to do doesn't want to be the second in charge of the right-hand man.
Hand of the king.
Yeah. So maybe he's like, you know what? Let Jon go and you can have, like, more time to think. Like...
Oh, so he's going to interfere on the and make it...
I think so. I think the king's going to interfere in their family matters.
Interesting. Okay. Well, he already wants to marry his son to their daughter, so it's like... Yeah, he's kind of already interfering and not really giving them as much of a choice.
Yes.
What about Benjen? So we'll just see him leave and possibly be persuaded to take Jon?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Benjen's gonna, like, stay. Like, he just doesn't feel like a character who's around to stay.
Okay, so he's not gonna be around for long?
Yeah, no.
Like, he's just gonna, like, go somewhere, or is he gonna die, or is he gonna just, I think
he's just gonna go somewhere. If Jon goes with him, he might die, but that'll probably be later.
Okay. All right.
He might die just for the sake of someone dying.
Dire prospects for Benjen Stark. What about Tyrion? What do you think? What do you think we're gonna see from him? Are we gonna see him again?
Well, he's with the king's party. The party's still here. Yeah. So we're definitely gonna see him again. I don't know if he's gonna be, like, I don't know what he's gonna be up to in, like, the next chapter, let's say. But we're definitely gonna, because, like, the king and his procession isn't going anywhere. Like, even if they leave the town, like, they're part of the story now. So we're definitely gonna see Tyrion more. But I don't know what his role is gonna be.
I see. Okay. Okay, I think that's like
next
it.
Chapter.
Like, there's
next chapter.
Yes, I know. Hold on, we're not. I'm just saying. I think that's all you can predict for this chapter because there's not really much to go off of.
There's nothing to go off of.
Okay, so now, do you wanna take your book and flip to the next chapter?
Let's do it. Catelyn.
Again.
Yes.
Sorry.
Catelyn 2.0.
Yeah, we're back with her again.
Yay,
what do you
like
think we're gonna see from her perspective?
I think we're gonna get, because when we get to because Catelyn's like, currently Catelyn has been like the hater, you know,
Hater,
like, you know, because she was like, my
these
God's
northern
was
folk,
better than, yeah, all that. So I think we're gonna get some nice little comedy, because I feel like she's gonna make fun of the guests a little bit.
Oh, I see. I don't that's not what I expected you to say at all, because Catelyn is quite a somber character, so I was like,
no, but
I think
these
her
are her
chapter will be funny.
Thoughts. I think her
so it won't be
thoughts.
like funny to her.
It won't be like stand-up comedy funny. It'll be like she's like mad about like, oh, like I have to do all this work for this like awful queen, you know? And it'll just like, the way she delivers it will just end up being funny, because it'll be something that we can relate to, you know?
Okay.
We're like, oh yeah,
Catelyn
she's like
chapter
this.
equals funny.
Yes,
got it.
It's gonna be funny somehow.
I sure hope so now.
Watch someone die, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be funny.
But I'm gonna definitely bring that up if somebody dies.
Okay, and then Catelyn. Okay, well, why are we going back to her now? That's a good question. Well, something's gonna happen where we're gonna need her perspective. So maybe it's like Ed's gonna tell her about the position, and then she's gonna be, and then we're gonna see she's gonna be like, I don't want him to do it, or I want him to do it, and here's why. And then the here's why will be like backstory.
I see. Interesting. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing that. I guess that's it for everything we can do here. I just want to remind people that next episode won't be covering the Catelyn chapter, unfortunately. We're actually going to be covering the appendix and the map, so that there can be a bit more of understanding what the hell this world is. Poor Harmat has been a bit confused. She does not get directions, so now she will know which way north is and which way south and which way east and west.
Can I like flip to the map after, like whenever I need to?
After we go through it next time, yes.
Okay, good.
But the episode after that, we will definitely be back with Catelyn. You can skip it if you want, if you're not interested, but I just want to see what she has to say about the appendix.
Okay.
In the meantime, find us on all of our social media. We're on Facebook at Pop Culture Symposium, on Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium, on Twitter at Pop Symposium. Our website / blog is popculturesymposium.tumblr.com, and you can also email us at popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Wow, that's a lot to remember.
Say.
Yeah, you don't need to remember all of those. The links are down in the show notes, so just click on the thing, and we will talk to you next time. Wait, that's her thing. Until then, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.